I want to thank everybody for coming down to the Parting Glass tonight to join us for the first show of what is our 8th season of At the Post Live. Couldn't have done it without so many of you and so many of the loyal fans that come down so often to the show, and I appreciate it. And, of course, appreciate everybody in racing to join us. At the Post Live is now, we started in 2012, and we're here at the Parting Glass in 2019. We're going to start out with a guest we like so much that we misspelled his name when we put up the name card. But we're going to praise him the whole time, be really nice to him. Tyler Gaffalione is sitting out in the crowd, and Tyler's going to come up and join us. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Tyler. And if you're not familiar with Tyler, get up here. I'm not doing it from down there. I'm not coming down to you. I'd like to, but I'm not. Get up here. If you're not familiar with Tyler, you're going to be familiar with him this year, next year, and for many years to come. And, of course, Tyler is probably best known for riding War of Will, who won the Preakness and was right smack dab in the middle of some controversy. Tyler, I'm going to make you speak right into the mic. Put those on. It's the new helpful me. I'm turning over a new leaf this year. I've been nice so far. I'm going to see how long that lasts. I'm thinking not too long. Tyler, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear him?
Hello?
Turn him up. Make sure you can hear him. You want to hear Tyler. How's it going? Are you enjoying Saratoga?
Absolutely. It's been a blast so far.
You got like your whole Saratoga family here.
Yeah, they all came out to support, so
that's great.
Enjoying
That's great. Chris, where's Bob? Bob couldn't make it?
He's in Ireland.
He's where?
Ireland.
I was out with him the other night. When did he go to Ireland? Is Fish playing there or something?
No, business trip.
All right. So anyway, Tyler, this is your first full meet in Saratoga. Is that correct?
Correct.
You rode here a little bit last year?
Not so much as the year before, but we shipped in twice last year.
And any success when you shipped in? You win a big race or not?
No, not yet. Hopefully this meet.
You won the Keeneland Fall meet, though. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's a pretty big achievement, winning the Keeneland Fall meet.
Most definitely. It was a great accomplishment, and I owe it all to my agent and the horsemen, but...
You don't owe it all to them. You owe some of it to them.
It's a great team effort.
It's pretty amazing, actually. You won from your first win as a rider to winning 7 races in a day at Gulfstream took less than 3 years. That's got to be some kind of record, right? Seriously, right? Guy wins a race, and 3 years later, you're winning 7 races. Did you ever, when you started riding, did you think you could have this kind of success and have it so quickly?
Not at all. Really, when I first started, just wanted to make a career out of it, try and ride as long as possible, and hopefully stay safe. But with a lot of help from everyone and great support, we've come a long ways.
Well, your dad was a rider, correct? And your dad's a big fan, because I remember when I was down at Gulfstream, your dad very quickly made friends with me. I think he was trying to get me to be nice to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were a little tough on me at first, so he was trying to warm me up.
It worked. He didn't even give me any money either. Nobody gives me any money. No, that was nice. And it was not, it's nice to see, right? It's great to have support.
Yeah, it's
from your
great
family.
to have him out there. And after I win a race, he's always the first one to congratulate me. And even when I mess up, he's the first one to criticize me. So it definitely helps.
That's good. Does he talk to you about your riding and like mistakes you make and things?
Oh, yeah.
You watch races together?
He's not shy at all. But after basically every day, he'll call me, kind of go over our races and critique me and see what we can fix.
That's cool. Now, is he coming to Saratoga at all?
No, he doesn't really like to come to the racetrack that much.
Really?
Gulfstream's basically it for him.
Really?
Yeah, he came to Delaware with me like 2 years ago, but our favorite restaurant's over there, Ralph's, an Italian place.
Okay, so he came to Delaware and he doesn't want to come to Saratoga.
No.
I may have to give him a call.
I couldn't even get him to the Derby this year.
Really?
No.
Seriously?
Yeah. Even the
He didn't come to the Preakness?
Nothing.
Well,
he thinks he's a jinx.
I don't think he comes to Gulfstream. You've done pretty well down there.
Yeah, I mean, that's home, though.
Now, are you planning on riding just the winters, the championship meet at Gulfstream going forward, and then maybe being at Churchill or maybe coming to New York at all full-time?
That's the idea right now. We're taking it step by step, but we're enjoying Kentucky. And Saratoga's been great so far, so hopefully we can come here in the future again.
Yeah, and you already won a couple of races. It's tough here.
It is very tough.
Yeah.
It's very competitive, but hopefully I'll be able to learn a lot here.
Well, your agent, Matt Musiker, and you brought him up. Obviously, Matt, and many people familiar with Matt, is from Saratoga. I've known Matt a long, long time. Does a fabulous job.
He does. He's great. I don't see him all that much, but
Me either.
he's great at his
I ran
job.
into him at CVS the other day.
No way.
Yeah, that's where I run it. I
You've
don't know.
probably
Maybe,
seen him more than I have.
well, the greatest thing about Saratoga, and I'm sure a lot of us that work in the track know, it used to be we had the one dark day. If you wanted to see people you knew from the track, you went to CVS. And everybody was there on a Tuesday. It's one of those things. It's the only time, Ron, you know, right? It's the case. So, okay, so let's talk a little about War of Will. He's running the Jim Dandy
Yes.
next week.
That's the plan.
That's going to be a tough Jim Dandy. It might be the toughest Jim Dandy in a long time.
That's what I was saying the other day. It's going to be a competitive field. I was looking at the nominations, and it's going to be a great race. I'm really looking forward to it.
So, obviously, War of Will had a very good winter. And before the debacle in the Louisiana Derby, he was one of the favorites for the Derby. Did you start to lose any confidence in him after Louisiana Derby, or did you feel he just had one of those bad days?
No, it just wasn't his day. In all honesty, he broke so sharp. He was going to make the lead that day, and that was our plan. Just 3 strides out of there, he lost his hind end, and it was game over for him that day. But after that, he came back. I galloped him 2 days, and then we worked him out of the gate, and he was back to himself.
So, you go to the Kentucky Derby, and you're riding a legitimately live horse. And I think in the Derby, any horse that's under 30-1 is probably legitimately live. It's such a tough race. You end up right in the middle of this enormous controversy. I mean, during the race itself, what is it like for you? Was that your first Derby you were riding?
Second Derby.
Who'd you ride before?
Patch.
Oh, the famous
2017.
Patch. Everybody loves Patch, right?
How can you not?
Everybody loves Patch. He's amazing, right?
He is. I actually worked him not too long ago. He's with Jack Sisterson in Kentucky now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing good.
He's a nice horse.
He's great.
He came back last year for Todd and ran really well at Belmont.
He
to win a
did. He
race.
won that allowance race impressively. And
Yeah. So you're riding War of Will, and when you're riding in the Derby, are you conscious as the Derby, or sort of once the race goes, you're just basically in another race?
My first Derby, I was very conscious of it being the Kentucky Derby. Can't lie, I was a little nervous, but this year it was different. I had a lot of confidence in my horse, and I've been riding much bigger races since then, so I was a little more comfortable doing so. And once the gates opened, it was just any other race.
So you had great position. And when you went to make your move, and obviously Maximum Security came out, what did you think? I mean, what were you thinking at that moment?
Going into the turn, I was following Maximum Security, and he was kind of drifting a little bit, and just shying. And Louis kept correcting him, but when we got to the turn, he came out and then went back in, and it opened up a spot for me. And as soon as he did, I advanced, and at that point, I thought I was going to win the Derby, but things happened.
Yeah, that's an exciting moment, though.
It was a great feeling, I can't lie.
To think you're going to win the race, even just have it. So, were you at all concerned during the race that you could go down because their legs almost got tangled up, or almost did, basically?
There was one point where he was coming out, and at first I didn't think he was going to keep coming over, but I'm not sure what happened exactly, but he started to cross the line, and I couldn't go out anymore. I had a few horses outside of me, and Country House was making his run, so he was kind of holding his position there. So I didn't really have any room to go out anymore, and we wound up basically directly behind Maximum Security, and I did think for a second I could go down.
That's a tough position to be in. So when you come back, and obviously he ended up not finishing, did you feel sort of bad and feel at all like, geez, I just feel like I maybe didn't get my fairest chance to win because of what happened?
Not really. I mean, even after the incident, my horse, he responded when I asked him. He jumped right back into the bid, and he made a good run, just came up a little short that day. But, to have his momentum stop like that, and it takes a lot out of him.
Were you surprised at the disqualification? I mean, were you down there sort of what's going on, or you'd already gone back to the jocks room?
I was in the jocks room, and I was just sitting around because I rode the race afterwards, so I was waiting for it all to be over.
Right. The inquiry's going on, you're thinking about riding the 13th, right?
It was a long day, but I was really surprised that they took him down. I mean, it was the right call, but for it to happen in the Derby, that was.
Well, I think it's interesting. A lot of you hear people saying the Derby's always a rough run race. They let things go. I can't remember, and Kieran McLaughlin's going to be up with us a little while, and we'll talk to him a little about it. I can't remember another Derby where a horse came out like Maximum Security did at the top of the stretch and interfered with several
horses.
That's
the difference. You don't see as much movement later in the race. Most of the movements early on, coming down the stretch the first time, people trying to establish position. You see a horse get shut off, just lose position, but never that late in the race.
So you head down to Maryland, and you get a chance to regroup. what was it like? Sort of, was it redemption? Was it just getting a chance to get a fair trip? Because you gave him just a beautiful ride that day. I mean, I don't think you could ride a horse any better than you rode War of Will in the Preakness, and obviously it worked out. And I don't know that there are rides you could have given where he might not have won. I think you really had you played a real role in that horse winning.
He did everything that day. Really, I was just a passenger. Everything opened up for us when we needed to, and it was just a dream trip, just one of those things that basically just meant to be.
How exciting was it winning a Triple Crown race?
It was incredible. I never thought I would be there, but to actually win the race, so surreal.
You had been riding for under 5 years, I think, as a jockey, roughly, and you won a Triple Crown race. I mean, that has to be one of the earlier successes in a Triple Crown race for a rider.
I mean, Steve Cawthon definitely holds a record there, but
he was pretty good, that Steve Cawthon guy.
he was.
He was pretty. It's funny, people talk about Steve Cawthon. I'm sure some people around then, and guys were talking about in the jocks room. It was the greatest phenomenon they'd ever seen.
Oh, it's incredible. Even growing up, I used to Google him and look at all his pictures and read all the articles about him. He was my hero
Really?
at a very young age.
He owned a horse that ran New York the other day.
I actually rode one for him in Kentucky for
Really?
Wesley Ward. It was
So
pretty
did
cool.
you meet him?
Oh, yeah. I've known him for a couple of years now, but
That's
it was
great.
pretty nice being able to ride for him.
Did you talk to him about riding at all?
Not too much.
He was an amazing rider.
He
What he
was.
did was incredible to go from here and go to
Oh,
overseas.
absolutely.
and
He has such success over there
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it was an incredible phenomenon. I actually was at Belmont when Affirmed won the Belmont
way.
Stakes. Yeah.
That was a great ride
Yeah,
that day.
it's my second Belmont Stakes. I was Seattle Slew as well. Yeah, it was a great race. So you're in Saratoga now, and you got War of Will. What else are you looking forward to up here?
We have a couple 2-year-olds we're looking forward to. A couple that haven't run yet, so
You want to give anybody any tips?
there's one
Kieran wants to know.
for Wesley this week that I'm pretty excited about. So.
Oh, really? For which is that the horse that's an outside post that would have been Saturday, but going to run Sunday?
Yes.
10 horse, turf horse. What's the story? That horse must have worked very well at the 2-year-old sale, right?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
What's that horse's name again? It's kind of it's a Coolmore horse, right? He's owned by Magnier.
Yes, Coolmore.
Yeah, it's in the turf sprint on which will now be, we did cancel on Saturday. I assume people know that. We're not running Saturday, but we are running the same card on Sunday. Yeah, that horse cost a lot of money. You looked into, he's good.
Wesley likes
Should I
him.
pick him?
Wesley likes him.
Oh, Wesley likes him. Don't tell Anthony. He's going to pick him now on the show. Tyler, thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
And best of luck in Saratoga. And
Thank you
I
so
know
much.
best of luck going forward. It's going to be a great career for you. Thanks so much,
Thank
man.
you.